Hello, good evening. Welcome to Chess Comedy Books 30, Potters, in which we take a light-hearted look at the very serious and wizard-like world of chess. An inquiry from colleague and friend John Upham, who asks me for some information about Potter. Well, just one moment, please. As you can probably guess, this is a book about Potter. They were standing on the edge of a huge chessboard behind the black chessmen, which were all taller than they were and carved from what looked like black stone. Facing them, way across the chamber, were the white pieces. Harry, Ron, and Hermione shivered slightly. The towering white chessmen had no faces. "Now, what do we do?" Harry whispered. "I'm so sorry. Now, what do we do?" Harry whispered. "It's obvious, isn't it?" said Ron. "We've got to play our way across the room." Behind the white pieces, they could see another door. "How?" said Hermione nervously. "I think," said Ron, "we're going to have to be chessmen." He walked up to the Black Knight and put his hand out to touch the knight's horse. At once, the stone sprang to life. The horse pawed the ground, and the knight turned his helmet head to look down at Ron. "Do we have to join you to get across?" The Black Knight nodded. Ron turned to the other two. "This wants thinking about," he said. "I suppose we've got to take the place of 3 of Black's pieces." Da, 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 da. Harry and Hermione stayed quiet, watching Ron think. Finally, he said, "Now, don't be offended or anything, but neither of you are good at chess." Well, they can never have read B.H. Wood's Easy Guide to Chess, then, can they? Oh, no, it doesn't say that. "We're not offended," said Harry quickly. "Just tell us what to do." "Well, Harry, you take the place of the bishop, and Hermione, you go next to him instead of that castle." "What about you?" "I'm going to be the knight," said Ron. The chessmen seemed to have been listening, because at these words, a knight, a bishop, and a castle turned their backs on the white pieces and walked off the board, leaving 3 empty squares, which Harry, Ron, and Hermione took. White always plays first in chess. Well, he's getting on. "In chess," said Ron, peering across the board. "Yes, look." A white pawn had moved forward 2 squares. Ron started to direct the black pieces. He moved silently wherever he sent them. Harry's knees were trembling. "What have they lost?" Harry moved diagonally 4 squares to the right. Their first real shock came when their other knight was taken. The white queen smashed him to the floor and dragged him off the board, where he lay quite still, face down. "Had to let that happen," said Ron, looking shaken. "Leaves you free to take the bishop, Hermione." "Go on." Every time one of their men was lost, the white pieces showed no mercy. Soon there was a huddle of limp black players slumped along the wall. Twice Ron only just noticed in time, and Harry and Hermione were in danger. He himself darted across the board, taking almost as many white pieces as he had lost black ones. We're nearly there," he muttered suddenly. Let me think. The white queen turned her blank face towards him. "Yes," said Ron softly. "Yes," said Ron softly. "It's the only way. I've got to be taken." "No," Harry and Hermione shouted. "That's chess." snapped Ron. We've got to make some sacrifices. Well, why don't they read books by David Levy then and Spielman? Doesn't say that. I take one step forward and she'll take me. That leaves me free to checkmate the king. Harry, but do you want to stop Snape or not? Ron, look, if you don't hurry up, we'll already have the stone. There was nothing else for it. Ready? Ron called, his face pale but determined. Here I go now. Don't hang around once you've won. Exciting, isn't it? He stepped forward and the White Queen pounced. She struck Ron hard across the head with her stone arm and he crashed to the floor. Hermione screamed but stayed on her square. The White Queen dragged Ron to one side. He looks as if he'd been knocked out. Shaking, Harry moved 3 spaces to the left. The White King took off his crown and threw it at Harry's feet. They had won. The chessman parted and bowed, leaving the door ahead clear. With one last desperate look back at Ron, Harry and Hermione, charged through the door and up the next passageway. What if he's... He'll be all right, said Harry, trying to convince himself. What do you reckon next? They've had sprouts. That was the devil's snare. Fitwick mustn't put charms on the keys, and McGonagall transfigured the chessmen to make them alive. That leaves Squirrel's spell and Snape's. Now, I've made a few notes here. I did this at work this morning. You can get the Noble Collection Wizards chess set on eBay from the original D'Agostini magazine, or the Final Challenge chess set. It was Ron who taught Harry Potter to play chess using the Isle of Lewis, he mentioned those many times, chessmen. They have sidelights on the side, they have exploding pawns, and they have a knight, which if you take it or hit it with a pawn, whinnies. Just one moment, please. Sorry about this. Hello? What do you mean? It's wrong. This isn't the Potter you wanted. Well, you might have made that clear earlier. I've just gone through all this. I mean, look at my glasses. Even I don't recognize myself, neither would my own mother. All right. I'll try and do better next time. And John, I'm sorry about this. Goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. Apparently all that was wrong. I'll have to do better next time. Look, I made all those notes. Apparently this is the Potter. Is this the Potter? Right. Now, the Potter Memorial. Now, this isn't Harry, but Reg Potter. And this is a book of the tournament held in about 1975. And all the games are here in algebraic figurine notation. A little and very good book published by B.H. Wood well over 40 years ago and still very well worth reading. The tournament was won by Adrian Hollis. Well, Adrian, he lost 2 games. He lost to Berta and Enzelins from Australia. But he did very well against the Trailers, winning 7 games off the reel. And he won £150, it says here. Well done, Adrian. Well done. Dr. Hunter, Ken Messeret played as well. All the players were either grandmasters or of grandmasters. Sorry, is that the phone? Hello. What do you mean that's wrong as well? Look, it's not Potter. I got the wrong Potter again. It's not Reg Potter, and it's not Harry Potter. Well, who is it then? I can't believe what you're saying. It's William Norwood Potter. What, David Norwood from South Norwood? No, William Norwood Potter. And he lived in Victorian times. He was a late Victorian. Well, if I'd known that at the start, what the bloody hell? I'm sorry. I'll apologise to the ladies and gentlemen. They won't mind. I do apologise. I got the wrong Potter. It's not this. If I can't get it right now, I don't see what the point of doing any of this is. This is from the Myers opening bulletins. Writing about Steinitz in his manual of chess. This better be right. Emanuel Lasker said, I heard in London. No, he didn't. What did Emanuel Lasker sound like? He was German, wasn't he? I heard in London there's a very London master, Mr. I'll just read it in my normal voice. Well, my very special voice, really. I heard in London that a London master, Mr. Potter, who loved unusual and strange moves, had influenced Steinitz greatly. The two were friends. Woo! They were partners in consultation games. I've never heard it called that before. And Steinitz somehow began to copy Potter's style. Potter probably saw through the emptiness of the presumption of the style then dominating, and with this style of play, he seemed to call out to his contemporaries, you want to beat me right from the start by force of greater genius? Look, I make ridiculous moves, and yet you cannot beat me because, I pray you, more modest and more reasonable. I take a deep breath. I have remembered that for a long time, since I first learned to play, it was enough to make me want to see examples and see where I can locate them. Well, here's Potter in the book Social Chess, which I've got a copy of, though I haven't brought with me, written by James Mason. And it gives examples of Potter's playing the exchange variation of the French. It also gives examples of the stone wall and Potter's games against Johannes Zukertort. I think the Potter's openings were very interesting, writes Hugh Myers, but it's questionable that they had much effect on the style of Steinitz. He was only 3.5 in these games against Zukertort, but in the other games of their match, he had 2 wins, 1 loss, and 7 draws. Sounds all right to me. Zukertort was one of the strongest players in the world. I would like to see those games as well. Hugh, Potter was respecting his work as a chess magazine editor and writer in the 1870s and 1880s. Right. Say no more, Squire. Look at this. Look at this. Potter took part in a number of consultation games. This is the book by Jimmy Adams, published by New in Chess. And there are games in here, I think about 5 or 6, which show Potter off to effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games. I'll just choose one at random, 250, just to see what we get. But more importantly, when it was played, I think, actually. Try not to nod off to sleep while I'm going through this. Yeah, doesn't seem to have helped. It's not game 250, maybe it's on page. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, just chat amongst yourselves. Well, I can't find it. And probably the reason for that is my dyslexia, but I do apologise. Anyway, we did establish there were 6 games in here by Potter. At least 2 of them, if not 3, are consultation games of the sort that probably was more popular then than now. Although they do have, at the London Classic, for example, they get up on the stage and do that sort of thing, don't they? Let's see what this book by Bird has. This is a lovely by René, Hans René. I've marked a page here, but I don't think that's part of it. No, that's Bird playing against Whisker. I'm going to dive in largely unprepared. You've covered a bit of ground, and I've shown you quite frankly how difficult it can be sometimes to locate these things. Even top-rate books, and believe you me, these are top-rate books. The references to William Norwood Potter are massive. 119, 120. Here's an offhand game played in 1872, and it's an accelerated dragon. Wow. Containing a number of exciting combinations. The first of these, published in 1872, saw William Norwood Potter, thank God, as his opponent. Potter, one of the best London masters, played a forthright positional style. He gained a lot of fame as editor of magazines such as the Westminster Chess Club Papers and the City of London Chess Magazine, while in later years he also took care of the chess columns in Land and Water. It was a real slugfest, full of errors, but mesmerizing until the end. Well, he lost. After all that, he lost. But it does look very interesting. White managed to block up the black accelerated dragon bishop. Well, I'll just look at one more. Otherwise, I haven't helped John Upham very much, have I? And that's exactly what I wanted to do. One, 6, 4. 1, 6, 4. Well, here's a photograph, and Potter is the second person in it. No, he's the third. So it looks quite thin, with fairly thin hair, a bit like mine. Let's see if you can see. There he is, there. I've got my finger on it so you can't see him. There. Now, the most important thing isn't so much, apart from the fact he's there, the occasion as to when it was taken, that photograph. It was taken in 1873. So it was long thought that the man identified as H.F. Down was Henry Bird, despite the latter already known to be bald at the time. A bit personal, isn't it? Anyway, this is a famous photograph, and it's taken at a garden party. Well, fancy that. Well, this has given you a bit of information about William Norwood Potter. I'm sorry that I got my Potters wrong, but next time I'll have to do better. This has been Chess Comedy Books 20. I'm William Norwood Potter. I'm so sorry. I'm James Pratt. Thank you for listening.